Hey everybody, it's me, Vanessa, as always, every Sunday night. So if you can't tell, we're into the blue chakra. So much blue, and I have a lot of crazy patterns going on. So blue, and in the background you'll see there's some green incorporated, which is great because it happens to be the chakra that's before that, right? Which was the heart chakra. So the heart chakra was the midpoint of the 7 chakras. That was the meeting point. And now we're going into the throat chakra. So guess where the throat chakra is located? It's pretty self-explanatory. Hey, nay, nay. So there's a lot of great things about the throat chakra that you may or may not know. One of the fun things that I like about this one is that, I don't know, I guess people think it's so simple to speak, right? But a lot of times we speak either without being heard or we don't really say what we mean. So the throat chakra is all about this. It's actually really about bringing peace, being serene, content. It's supposed to be tranquil, and that's what the color blue is all about. So it's pretty easy to remember. Don't forget, you're going from Roy G. Biv. So at the base we have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So we're at the blue part right now. Yay! So let's see, where should we start? Take a deep breath. That's a good idea. How about that first? Have you ever been in a situation where you actually said what you meant and like really meant what you said? Have you ever had that? And in that moment, there's this amazing thing that happens. There's this pure, not just clarity, but like power that happens behind it. Hey, Danielle. And it's really exciting because suddenly you're like, that's exactly what I meant to say. And I said it when I was supposed to say it. And it's pretty amazing when that happens. So when your throat chakra is in good balance, you'll have many more of those moments, which is really, really great. One thing I forgot to mention about the heart chakra, and the reason I want to mention it is because they all go together. The heart chakra, again, in Chinese medicine is like joy and what else? Oh, song. So like your voice, your speaking voice comes with that. So guess what that opens up into? It goes right into here. So they both go together. Obviously you can see that. So when if you're like really, really down and you have a hard time speaking, or if somebody who's usually singing in the shower stops singing in the shower, it's kind of telltale that something's a little off. So if you have your heart is like still open with some joy is still there, you'll still be able to sing, you'll still be able to talk. And the throat chakra, when you find yourself, like you can hear at this point of the night, I'm tired from talking to the kids and telling them everything. So my voice gets a little shot, but I do sing to them before bed. Okay. Yeah. And being a parent, I usually say that by 10 a.m. I'm already tired of hearing my own voice. So it's always funny too. Anyway, let's get serious for a second. I'm just deciding where to talk. So blue energy is this guiding energy of faith and trust. Hey, Heidi. And everything before that, the red, orange, yellow, and green, is guiding you towards this movement for the blue. So that's why it's so interesting. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time concentrating for 1 second. I'm getting a lot of messages. Hold on. Here we go. On a physical level, if the throat chakra is having some challenges, or if it's like going backwards, maybe we'll talk about some crystal stuff tonight. Hi, Heidi. With the pendulum. You could have some thyroid issues. You can have stiff neck, some jaw problems, TMJ, obviously like laryngitis, where the voice starts getting really hard to produce. You can be prone to strep throat, tooth, gum issues. You could even have hearing loss or like tinnitus, the ringing in the ears, and then toxicity in the body. So it's pretty important to not just voice what you want to say, but also to really focus on opening up the throat chakra. And you can sometimes feel it, like when somebody feels like, oh, I have a frog in my throat, or it's hard to swallow, or it's hard to speak. That's really what's going on. So I find that if I'm in a place where I'm having a difficult time speaking, if I'm like low energy, I will force myself to make a phone call to a friend, like a phone a friend moment. And then I'll let them know I'm having a hard time speaking. And we usually take a few breaths in together, and then just give it a moment. They might ask a couple prompting questions to get me kind of going, and then everything starts to spill out, and it's much different and end up feeling much better within a few minutes. So very important to know thyself. Now, when your throat chakra gets worked on, hi Liz, thank you. Guess what happens? You have these beautiful gifts where you have a resonant voice. Now, I border between having some voice issues and then suddenly having no issues at all, and like even my singing voice changes pretty quickly. You'll have a healthy thyroid, obviously, great metabolism, strong upper body. Now that's the first time I've heard of that one. That's kind of interesting. A flexible neck, so that's good to know too, because it's located literally right here, so that will just always go into the back of the body as well. And good oral health. So it's the opposites, but it's good to actually read them aloud, because then you'll remember, like, oh yeah, that's the opposite of, you know, tooth and gum issues, is that my mouth would be great. Or the opposite of having a hard time with my thyroid is like, oh, I'd have a great metabolism, all this stuff would be strong. So it's good to know what's going on. All right, there we go. Mental level. Now, the throat chakra is very interesting, because as soon as you get emotional, the first thing somebody will say is, I'm choked up. I'm getting choked up, right? So these sayings come around for a reason. Choked up is happening here, right? And sometimes you get tongue-tied, and that starts to happen in the mouth, which is associated with the teeth and the tongue and all that stuff. So or you get dry mouth, right? Same type of thing. It's all connected. So when that starts to happen, you start to lose your voice pretty quickly. Which is why when we have these things happen, it's really, really helpful to do something simple, like take a few slow breaths. So at the beginning of these, even for myself, I tend to be a little hyped up. I'm trying to rush the kids to bed, make sure they're settled in, and they're usually like not fully settled in, so I have to like sneak out and stuff. It's a little crazy, but within a couple of minutes and taking a few breaths and focusing on stuff, everything works out. So it's just a lot of trust and remembering that things do work out. So the gifts of mental clarity when you're in a good place with the throat chakra, you'll have clear communication. Now this is like one of the biggest things in our whole world. Anybody raise their hands, even if I can't see you, if you have the best communication, everything's perfect, it runs smoothly. Renee's like, me! You know, you don't have problems with anybody, right? So even if you have pretty darn good communication with you know, outside world, I'll say your circle of 10 friends or whatever it is, right? Pretty much guaranteed that the closer you are with the person, you're either going to get one of two things, where you have great communication all the time, you don't fight, or you just have to keep figuring it out over and over again. You're like, well, I know how that person operates. How am I going to readjust for that? So clear communication doesn't mean that there's no fighting. It actually means that you know how to adjust yourself and adjust boundaries and know how to negotiate things pretty well. And that's all part of the chakra. Excellent listener. Now this is not as easy as you may think, right? People just think, I get on the phone, I know what my friend is talking about, I give them great advice, and we are the best, right? And Renee and I are like, nee. No, this is something we work on all the time. Listening it's not necessarily there all the time. I'm definitely guilty of not doing my best listening. I think now, after many, many years of, you know, facilitating Circle and helping other people, I'm pretty aware of when I'm not listening well. So now I will catch myself, which is a difference, and I'll say, you know, I'm sorry, I'm kind of distracted right now, or you know what, I didn't really catch that, and be very honest that I didn't catch something that they said. But the other thing, remember a few weeks ago before we were doing the chakras, we had spoke about active listening, co-listening, reflective listening. I'm giving all these fancy names to it, but it's all about deep listening, where you're just hearing that person for a few minutes. So that's the exercises before it. So if you don't remember that, I'll just refresh it really quickly, which is, in that exercise, I said, give somebody 4 minutes to talk only about what they need to talk about, and not to give them any input afterwards. And then take a deep breath with them, and then reflect back to them what you heard them say. That is just the quick part of it. Maybe I should just review it in another video. We'll do that separately, but So that type of listening practice is very, very important, because when you get into the regular world, not the real world, the regular world, how many people practice things like that? They don't. So you have to be able to figure out what's happening. I have plenty of people that are actually against things like that. You know, if you're not actively pursuing growth, spiritual growth, then you're going backwards, because you're never going to get anywhere in your communication. You're never going to get anywhere in the really important parts of your life. Yeah, you might get somewhere, you know, in your career, but the deeper connections, they come with work, and that includes, the highest part is you know, connecting with yourself, and how do you improve yourself, and thus improving people around you and the world around you. The other part, hey Wendy, the other part is interrupting others. So this goes, hello, hand in hand. If you're not practicing active listening or deep listening, guess what happens? Most of these people, they just keep stopping you. They don't even know that they're doing it. Not just annoying, it's very hard to keep your train of thought. It's very hard to feel heard, and it's very hard to progress in your relationship with them. I think particularly when you're very aware of that type of thing, you'll get more irritated by the others that are not doing it. Normal. Doesn't mean you can't be friends with them, but you're probably going to have to set some boundaries and give them that opportunity to step up, right? One fun thing that could happen if you have a reversal here, you could have poor rhythm. Think about that. You know anybody that can't dance or just can't keep a little simple drum beat, anything like that? It's not because they weren't born with that gift. Or maybe, you know, maybe their chakras are a little, you know, different from the way their parents were at that time of conception. That could have something to do with it too. But it's not just a gift. It's something that's there's a blockage going on. So if you're that person that hears music and just can't find that beat in your hips, there is still hope. So I guess that's the good news, right? And that also goes with tone deaf. I don't know a lot of tone deaf people, but then when I hear them, I'm always shocked. I'm like, how is that possible that you can't hear that? But of course, it happens. Tone deaf, and then like weak voice. And I do know some little mousy voices that I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't really project. I don't have a giant projection, but I can definitely sing louder and like really work on it. But it's work, and that's okay. I'm not scared of work. Don't ever be scared of work. It's again, if you're not pushing forward and working on your spiritual stuff and improvement, you're going backwards. So I'm not afraid of work. Hey Donna. So let me get this off the screen. Good. Emotional level. So as I said before, peace is the color of tranquility. It's a good thing to remember. You know, your bedroom, generally, you don't want to have a bright red room, although some people, maybe it won't affect them as much. Different for sleeping lights, like you can have a red light in your room. It's actually usually pretty calming and won't interrupt. But the color of your walls, I mean, I've loved golden color in my room. I've slept really well in there, but it's really more of the blues, the cool colors that tend to, they say, make you sleep better. So good to remember. And you'll see most of spas are like that too, where it's on the cooler side like that. But again, I like my yellows a lot. Must be something about my chakras, right? So if you have somebody super, super talkative or talks really fast and doesn't let anybody else come into the conversation, it might say something about their chakra, their throat chakra. You don't have to educate them on that in a condescending way, but you can always say, you know, if the opportunity presents itself, like, oh, I noticed you were speaking really fast and didn't seem to get your point across still. Maybe I can help you, you know, explore that a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Peaceful and calm, able to listen to others. It's all the same. Let's see. Friendly and open. I love this one. Hey, Eileen. The throat chakra, like I said, because it comes with this tranquility, there's this air about it that is not condescending. And if you tend to like suddenly get condescending or whatever like that, I urge you to catch yourself quicker than they will catch you, because it's not going to be a good conversation. But just like I was saying, you want to invite somebody into a growth, right? So you wouldn't start going, you know what, you talk too much and you're too fast and this is what you need, blah, blah, blah. No, right? Renee's just looking at me like, yeah. No, you want to be friendly and open about it, right? So when the throat chakra is happy and healthy, there's not a lot of effort to be friendly and open. It's just there, which is a great thing. So if you notice yourself getting, it's not just anger or attitude, it's actually the way you speak. You might want to explore what's kind of going on inside of there, because that has something to do with it. So the tone thing, which I'm infamous for saying, and I'm not always great with it either. So I have to listen to myself and hear myself. Gossiping could be a reversal there. If you find yourself or somebody else like, did you hear what she said? And so said this, and blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't end with like a one sentence. It just keeps going and there's no end to it. And like you have to update the person and there's a lot of gossip going. That energy is like a fruitful waste. So when you do become guilty of that, which everybody is, you just have to hear yourself and stop it. Or if you hear somebody else doing that constantly, find a friendly way to tell them, you know what? You should wear blue this week. It'd be good for you. It'd be good for me too. Feels like you're not being heard, and that's why you're talking about other people and you're not really happy with it. I don't know if that's a little too pushy, but that's how I'm feeling. Especially right now with everything going on. So, I heard what you say is a really, really good saying. I heard you say this, and repeat what they said. And you will be free of any judgment or not just judgment or expectation of how you're going to be heard after that. Okay, we went over the gifts. This goes into living in the truth and authenticity. So now I'm going to forget the saying. There's a great quote in the halls of Kapalo, and let me see if I can get you there right now. I'll probably have to post it later because I won't remember, but it's about authenticity, but basically saying like when you speak, what you say and what you do are all in alignment, like that's you. I'm totally messing it up. I'll remember it later. But it's the three things that have to go together, and that's how you are yourself. You are your greatest person. And if you're not doing, saying, and acting the way that aligns with you, you're going to be hurting. If you've ever found yourself doing lots of even little lies or whatever, generally after a few of those, you start to feel kind of icky. And there's a reason for that. That's your soul, your inner core telling you this is not good. It's not going to work out. And that will grow with you with anything else. So if you find yourself doing things that are incongruent with you, listen to yourself. It's a big deal. Yeah, again, perfect for the timing for what we're going on right now. If you find yourself like, oh, I wanted to say this to the person, I was afraid of how they would react, you might want to take a overnight and kind of think of like, you know what, I feel like it's really necessary for me to say something. How am I going to say this in a nice tone? And if it's not, and you want to move on from it, then maybe you want to either write about it or just say it to somebody else. Like, I felt like this, but I do feel like if I say it, it's going to be wasted energy. What else can I do with this energy? And then you'll probably end up making some changes in your life or in others too. Good example of that. This is really simple, but if you have let's say, a bad doctor, review or whatever, you go someplace and they don't treat you a certain way or whatever it is, people think that it's wasted to say something. No, it's all about how you say it, but people need to know about it, including the office, and not like in a nasty way, but just tell them like, this is what happens, and this is what I received, and this is why that didn't work for me, because people need to know these things. It's super important, because what you experienced could obviously transgress to somebody else, and you would feel pretty bad, right, if they had some horrible surgery happen because the way you were treated. So speaking your voice is really, really important. The amazing thing that can happen is that your conscious creativity will go up dramatically. So this is different than like, oh, I'm a creative person, but I've been doing, distance meditations for people and stuff like that. And a good example is one of my friends. I did one for, I don't think it was last week. And suddenly I was saying this rhymed meditation to her. And I was kicking myself out as I was saying it. So the only pause in the whole meditation was because I'm like, I can't believe I didn't record this. This is the book that I wanted to write for a child, And that was all because we were focusing on the outside and nature, and there was a lot of blue coming up, and I was channeling. So amazing things can happen when you really focus on the throat chakra, because you will start to channel at a very different level. It's not just like your own creativity. You just start to get way more information, I don't know, Renee, maybe you do this when you do some of the chakra homeworks. Not really. If you get like into it, sometimes you'll see that you like go really fast, or like it just gets better and better, or whatever it is. But when you find yourself getting better and better in the moment, it's not just you. You're getting some divine, not intervention, divine guidance, I'll say. Okay. I like the word flashes of creative insight and propelled to create. It's a good sentence. Have you ever just started feeling like, I need to go do this, I need to do this, and you start to feel clearer, not just in your throat, but like kind of everywhere else? And remember that deep breath that I was talking about last week with the heart chakra? That will happen too, because as soon as you're able to speak your truth in some way, not just with words, but through some sort of creative expression, there is a breath that happens, because it starts to immediately clear everything up. Okay. So, let's see. What do you think about blue? I think blue is one of those more favorite colors, maybe for a reason. Now the throat chakra is really more associated not necessarily with a deeper blue. It's really more like aquamarine, aqua-y colors, but again, because they all go together and you're seeing the creativity from the throat chakra and it goes up into the indigo version. So to me, it's like not the same, but pretty similar. For me, blue is blue in this situation, although I have kind of both on right now. Okay. Anything else that I want to say? Oh, your word or your mantra for this one is Ram, R-A-M. And I just want to make sure that I'm right on this. Where is it? The Sanskrit for this is more of a hard one for me to say. That's okay. It's coming. Where is it? I think I lost it. It's okay. How's everybody doing while I look for this? Are you feeling the throat chakra? Maybe we'll do some breath work with it first too. Okay. All right, I'm going to come back to it. Oh yeah, the Sanskrit word is Vishuddha, which I don't know. I don't know if I need a better Indian accent or something, but it's V-I-S-H-U-D-D-H-A, Vishuddha, and in Sanskrit you pronounce every syllable, so there you go. Good luck with that. And that I believe that means purification. So it's all about purifying, and I like to think of water in that sense. So if we release everything out, I think we're going to use that in the meditation tonight too. So that really helps. Okay, I'm going to stop babbling for a moment. Just a moment. How you doing, Nene? You're my only live person over there. I don't have any faces on Facebook. And you're muted. Not fair. So if you're still with me live on Facebook, you're going to start getting into a comfortable position. Relaxing. I know Renee's going to... I'm going by Renee. She's going to shut off her light. She's going to prop up her boyfriend pillow. Good. Get that support going. I hope you're all loving the artwork that I am posting, and I please, I hope you do it too. So I'll state the homework now again. It's the same as the other ones, but you'll do painting blue, something for the throat chakra, and again, make sure you get that aquamarine color, the aqua in it. And I really urge that you do this, because even though you might be hesitant or resistant to doing it, once you are in the middle of it, generally something magical happens, and it's probably that divine clarification and channeling that happens, but the whole thing just like explodes, and I don't know, it's pretty amazing. So I like to write the words on top of it, and this week I'll be posting mine too, so you can see what I've been up to. But it's really powerful, so I hope that you kind of want to do that and get excited about it. So yeah, I don't know where the hearts are coming from, but I like it. So here we go. We're going to go into the throat chakra. So the throat chakra has 16 petals. Remember I said each chakra is represented, and they all have these beautiful petals that vibrate, and when they're in good vibration, the chakra is at this peak and it opens, so to speak. The throat chakra, for me, when this is more open, which I could feel it's like still stuck right now, it will feel like you took the most satisfying drink of water, like you were so thirsty before. You're so thirsty before, and now that's quenched, and you can feel how clear everything is, and it feels cool down, and your voice feels like strong and sing-songy, and there's just no resistance in there. Everything feels really clear. And I don't think people are necessarily as aware of the front part of their neck, but they'll feel it in the back too, because it goes from the front to the back. And the light will do the same thing. So your neck will also start to feel pretty relaxed and open, which will release the shoulders as well. So kind of a cool thing to look forward to. Okay. So let me get my music going. I'm going to take a glass of water because my voice is shot. Okay. So here we go. So even if you're lying down, you can do a bit of this. You're going to bring your chin to your chest, just very, very slowly. And then inhale back up. And I don't dip the head back, I just gaze the eyes towards the ceiling. And then exhale, chin to chest. Inhale back up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, back up. And keep going with the movement. We're going to go into a really cool meditation tonight. And for me, my mouth wants to open as I release everything. I think that's a natural progression. If your eyes aren't closed yet, you can close your eyes here. You can continue with the movement if it's feeling good. And generally some saliva will probably start to gather here. So you're going to keep that in your mouth as long as you can. That's the yin gathering. And that will be really, really healing and soothing when you do swallow it. Beautiful job. And the breath slows even more and becomes long and smooth. And I'm going to come to a natural stop in the movement when I feel like it. And just notice how this movement and this breath has already warmed things up internally. And you're going to take that warmth with you on our travels tonight. Feeling how great that internal warmth and that internal guidance is. Everything is very, very soft inside, very warm and supported. So remembering that our voice is not just creating a vibration in our throat, it's also going into the air. It goes not just into our ears, but our whole body. So anytime I ask you during the meditation to make a sound, just kind of mentally prepare for that, remembering that there is no judgment to it. It doesn't matter what it sounds like, only the action that you do it. And the intention is always to open and to release this beautiful healing vibration into the body and then back into the world around you. So things are slowing down, becoming easier to focus. So tonight you're going to find yourself in an environment that's cool, maybe even cold, but internally you have this warmth, so don't worry about that. Where we're going right now is going to be so overpowering with its beauty that you won't feel anything else but really complete. So over the next few breaths, you're going to allow yourself to travel. For some people, they just arrive in the place, and some people fly, or some people just blink into darkness and they get there. But for the next few breaths, enjoy traveling. And I'm not going to tell you where you're going yet. Just enjoy traveling. Finding that freedom from the body, watching the energy float up. And if you're doing really well right now, you might see yourself as a color blue, a version of the blue. You might be able to gather your energy into this light. Again, there's no judgment here. So if your body is not into the blue form, maybe it's in some other form. Maybe it's smoky, maybe it's watery, maybe it's foggy, or maybe you're not traveling like that. Maybe there's a different color. Or maybe you're just allowing the breath to go in and out. So wherever you are, gathering up all that beautiful prana, the beautiful chi, and bringing it together, releasing it from the human form, and finding that creativity. And soon you're going to find yourself in pure darkness. And now the energetic form will take another human form, but it's not the one before. It's a much more freer form. Everything feels good. There is no joint pain, muscle aches, nothing, no worry, just a beautiful ethereal form of yourself. And you'll land very softly onto this cool flooring. It's very smooth, a little cold. But here we love sensation. So here we explore what it's like to be in full sensation. We love it. And you're going to find yourself kind of gliding around in this almost darkness. Now it's almost still pretty dark. And then soon there's going to be a beautiful shimmering white light, almost like you're in a tunnel, and the space around you has been small, and now it's about to get very big. And this feeling, I always love talking about the expansiveness that happens. And there's this wonderful opening that happens, and you find yourself in some sort of a crystalline area. And all around you, it looks like ice. You're not quite sure yet what it is. It looks clear and white at the same time. And it's very sparkly. And the light is just shining off of everything around you. There's prism forms, crystalline forms. It's amazing. It might remind you of selenite or something similar to that. And maybe you'll notice some rainbow forms coming through. It's very, very bright. And you'll feel the solidity and the coolness, or maybe even the coldness of it. But for you, you're not uncomfortable. You're very, very happy and peaceful. So explore it here. Around you, it's not just lights now. There's colors. It's like the aurora borealis is coming inside this place. And you see all these lights just moving and glossing over and shifting their way all around. And the most noticeable one will be blue. Very, very watery type color. And it comes through each part of the crystals and the prisms, and it reflects and spreads far, far out around you. But the one place it's going to focus on will be directly over the throat. And as it goes into the throat, you're going to feel a big coolness, like you took the biggest drink of water. And this cold feeling, instead of feeling scary, is going to feel so welcoming. Your whole body will open to it. And this drink of water, this drink of light, is going to go through each part of your body now and follow it through. And notice where it goes first. Starting from the throat chakra, watching the aqua blue color go all the way through the body. And as this happens, you're not humming this time, but you can hear around you this reverberation of hum. And it sounds beautiful. It's like there's a choir around you. Way more than one person, and it's echoing through this beautiful cave-like structure, this crystalline area, and those colors are still floating around you. Can you see it? I also want you to notice how the air feels around you. As you take the next deep inhalation, open the mouth nice and wide, release the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, and inhale through the mouth this time. One more time, inhale through the mouth and exhale through the mouth. And notice that as you close the mouth or the lips slightly together, that area still wants to stay open, and the hum sound happens so naturally now. It's creating the air and the soft palate, lifting everything up and releasing the tongue. Again, that heat comes inside the body, and that coolness from the aqua mixes in. So now, instead of feeling like water, it feels like cool air comes inside the whole body. And it goes through every part of your being, clearing and making space. Notice the breath. As you release the body into this trusting space of knowing that you're clearing and you're clarifying and you're working on this communication without even speaking, you'll allow this ethereal form of yourself to explore further. And in the center of this space, you're going to find some beautiful crystal bowl, and the bowl inside has some foods. You know, I love using food as this because it really helps you energize and attract and connect to each chakra. So what's our favorite blue foods? Very, very easy. The first one that comes to mind will probably be blueberries. So imagine you have the juiciest, plumpest, most large organic blueberries in front of you. They've just been picked, they're completely fresh, and they're also floating in some really clear water. So you'll pick a couple up, and now mindfully take a small bite. So you're not going to let it go, put 5 in your mouth. You're just going to take one at a time and allow it to burst in your mouth. Notice how the salivary glands right away respond to this flavor, this texture. And you have a little bit of that cool water coming with it. Now inside of this blueberry, it's not perfectly blue, and I love that because it comes with actually more of the deeper purplish indigo-ish color that goes into the next chakras. And also that's kind of the colors of what you would see in the auric color of the throat color energy. It's like a little smoky purple or a little turquoise mixed up into it. So we're all working together, and nature does this for us. So enjoy that. So we're ready to rest here, and we're going to do a little bit of work. You're going to find the most comfortable spot you can. It's like you're building your own nest in this amazing, beautiful atmosphere. So you're going to find a bag that's been left for you. Notice the texture of the bag, the colors of it. And inside you're going to find some awesome fluffy stuff. We love soft things, right? And maybe for this chakra, it might be a little bit more on the silky side, but you're going to make yourself a little nest. And the colors may be changing, they may be different, but still focusing on that blue, aquamarine, turquoise. So in a guided meditation, it's very easy for me to help you focus on something different that you may not want to necessarily or typically focus on in your meditation. But tonight we're going to invite the first communication issue that comes to mind. So if you're finding yourself in a situation that might be bothering you, where you feel like really needs to be resolved, this is your moment to start the resolution, because we'll start it right here. This meditation is work. It might be simple or not at all. You're just doing the motions, but whatever it is work, and it's good work. Don't be scared of work. So you're going to give yourself a moment to come up with that situation that you need guidance or clarification on. And instead of inviting the person in there with you, you're going to be presented with a beautiful portrait, picture, however you want to see it. Maybe it's a painting, maybe it's a TV screen type thing, but they're there in this amazing space. And you're going to change it. So any part of the conflict that we want a resolution to, you're going to now invite these, like I said, like aurora borealis type lights all around the situation. And you can control it. And I want you to see that the control is not coming from your fingertips. It's coming from the throat chakra area. So the blue that comes out of here is going to be like this magical purification process. And every exhale that you do, and now this is where you're going to go with the hum. And it will sound nicer than mine probably right now. Every exhale that you do, you're going to chant that hum all the way out, and you're going to watch that color go over and over and go forward into that picture. Every exhale, those colors fly out and circle around the situation. If you have a clear vision of how you would like the resolution to look, and I mean a kind one, not one that will only serve you. If you have a kind vision of it, where the whole family will, feel good together, where whatever it is, something peaceful will happen. If you have a good vision of it, this is where you can use that energy to manifest and envision that ideal vision of it and see that happening. And the colors, as you exhale, will get brighter and brighter and form this. Do that now. So, as you begin to resolve this, and maybe you're just at the beginning of working on it, and that's fine. You can always come back to it. You can listen to the meditation again later. Whatever you need to do, this visualization has now been embedded in you, believe it or not. And you can come back to it, and you can continuously work on it. So wherever you are in this process, if you're able to move right now, you're going to bring your thumb to your throat area in a prayer position, and then the fingertips go to the chin. And now as you inhale and exhale, you're going to feel that pressure building between the fingers and the throat. And I feel like you might not want to come out of this area for a while. So tonight, instead of transporting you back right away, I invite you to stay here and explore this crystalline place, this cave but open area with all these colors around. I want you to stay there for a little longer and feel the power and the magic of it all. I want you to refine your little nest of where you get to sit and meditate, of where you get to sit and recapture and purify your thoughts, your figurative imagination for communication. You're figuring out those situations. This is a perfect place to let that be seen and revise it so that your voice can be heard. Your communication can be concise, be clear, so that you can be authentic, the best version of yourself, that you can be accepted for your originality and that divine creativity that you are blessed with. Always coming back. So you'll stay here, allowing the purification to continue. And there is one thing I forgot. I keep forgetting to say on the first video. So tonight I'm going to say it as you're still in the softness. Please be aware that as we work on each chakra, old stuff can come up, because as you work through a blockage, things can come up, and this is really important. So particularly with the throat chakra, you might start to experience almost like a little cough or a difficulty in your throat or something like that, or even a sore throat. And instead of worrying about it so hardcore right away, remember that, oh, I did some work over here. Maybe if I do a little bit more work, maybe if I'm climbing on that little chakra ladder, things will unblock very, very quickly. And as always, if you have questions or concerns, you just reach out to me. So taking that weight off your shoulders and your neck, remembering that the throat chakra is there to bring you the best form of your life in terms of relationships, communication, and creativity. And that all connects to the lower, remember, the heart, your joy. So as the shoulders release, the lungs will also release. As the voice releases, the joy will release. So if you're not a singer, you don't have to be the best. You just need to let your voice be heard, let it ring out, and that includes to yourself. So over and over again, saying your mantras. So that's it for this part of tonight. There's always more to be said. The time flies by with this stuff for me. Please keep checking back on Vanessa M. Meyer LLC for more stuff that happens. Keep this meditation in mind for yourself and for others. Keep knowing that everything you need is inside of you, and I'm just here to help you get there. So, hands to the heart. May you be heard. It really started with may I be heard. May I be heard. May you be heard. May all beings be heard. May your voice be free. And for tonight, may you be blessed with beautiful blues all around and the coolness of purification, releasing. Namaste.